Every soul walks a mythic path, but not everyone has the map. Welcome to Monomyth Tarot, a space where ancient archetypes meet modern story, where your questions are honored and the cards are doors, not answers. I begin each reading with a candle scry, letting spirit, symbol, and intuition guide what unfolds. These messages aren't meant for everyone. If they don't fit, don't force them. But if something stirs, if a symbol, an image, or whisper pulls at your gut, then please listen. Because life is story. And these cards, they're just trying to remind you of the plot. Now, when I say myth, I don't mean a lie. I mean a truth so deep that it has to be told in symbols. A myth is a map of the human experience wrapped in poetry and passed through time. It's not really about whether something happened, but whether it's happening inside of you right now. In this space, the cards are part of that map. We're not just reading tarot, we're remembering the story you came here to live. So I'm surrendering my story, my ego, my energy, allowing spirit to pass through. I see the image of a triangle, the parts, the three lines coming together. I see two people from the back, like walking down a wooden or forest path. The trees are making like an archway. And there's a light. They're walking towards the light. I see a manatee in the water in the concentric circles or rings from behind. It's quiet and still. I see it's a damsel fly just perched on the tip of a single blade of grass. And a Merkaba or a Merkaba, depending on your preferred pronunciation. I'm going to let the candle burn, and I'll continue to scry and share with you. I give what I'm given. We'll begin this reading today. This is a reading for the call, the beginning of the journey. Okay. So this spread really marks the pivotal moment when the seeker, that's you or me, the collective, steps away from their familiar beginnings and enters into that transformational arc of their personal story. It echoes of the archetypes of the hero's journey from ordinary life into the unknown. And so the first card is the ordinary world. And this is the Ace of Swords. Next we have the call to adventure. This is the Death card. The third card is going to be refusal of the call, and I'll use the Black Tarot for that. So we'll come back to that position. And then we have the meeting of the mentor. That's interesting. The Five of Pentacles. The meeting of the mentor is the guide or person that helps you on your journey. And then we have crossing the threshold, which is the victor. Okay. So crossing the threshold is once you've kind of answered the call, You know that you can't avoid it, you've got to move into it. It's that experience. So we have the Ace of Cups. I always use Lenormand. I love Lenormand. There are times where I'll do only Lenormand readings. So we have man and the letter. Okay. So starting off with the Ace of Cups. The Seeker's current landscape. This is the Ace of Swords. It's revealing a life likely shaped by clarity, by insight, and by mental strength. You're probably someone, if this is for you, someone who has spent a lot of time in their headspace. You're in a moment of rational awareness, perhaps seeing through the illusion and preparing to make an important or a pivotal life decision. As I think about that triangle shape that was floating in the flame, it's simple and sacred. And I feel like there's a tie-in for me here with the Ace of Swords. The call to adventure. This is the Death card. The Seeker, you're being called to release, kind of shed your own old skin. And the Death card really, requests that we transform, we shift our identity, our purpose, or our direction, and we do so in a pretty profound and powerful way. The Ace of Cups is the refusal of the call. This is the reason we don't want to make that change or that adjustment. And here, for me, I really feel that this is something emotional. There's an emotional response or a hesitation. There's fear, maybe from becoming overwhelmed by your own feelings. You might be scared to open up your heart or to express your vulnerability. Maybe you long for connection, but at the same time, like, you resist the risk that it takes to actually have that connection. You have to put yourself out there. The next card we have is the mentor or the guide, right? And so meeting the mentor or the guide, it's really interesting that we have the Five of Pentacles. It definitely is a card that's asking you to appreciate when the mentor arrives for you, that person is arriving not necessarily in a position of grandeur. So it's not going to be like the loudest voice on the internet or the shiniest thing or the most popular person in the room. They're going to enter with grandeur, but it's almost like a shared struggle. Like you guys are coming together in that sense. Like you both have been on the same path, and there may be just like one stride ahead of you. And the card suggests that the wisdom will come through the adversity. Perhaps someone who has faced, similar trials or situations that you have, and maybe you can see the similarities through your shared past, maybe through your own past pain. It's not necessarily always about money. Sometimes the Five of Pentacles Pentacles just in general can be about your physical experience, how you are showing up in the world. We have crossing the threshold. This is like taking the call, answering the call. And so we have victory. And the Seeker is choosing to act. This step that you're taking is bold, and it's perhaps marked by an important message, a decision, or maybe even like a declaration. Because we have the letter and the man, it's almost like, a feeling of like a conversation that is being had, and it's a turning point. It's not really an ultimatum as much as it is, you've decided that you're no longer going to stay stuck on the path that you're on, and that your journey no longer remains conceptual, like it's real, like you've had this thought, this idea, this desire, this pull to do something, and you're so uncomfortable in your own skin in this moment. It's really difficult for you to kind of stay where you are. You're almost being forced into answering the call. And it's the fear, it's like the idea that if you start crying, you may never stop, right? That flood of emotion that's coming through. And on the other side is someone to kind of guide you through this experience, who is maybe healing and becoming, but they're just a little bit ahead of you and can kind of guide you. They're so close to the same experience that they remember what it's like to be in the place that you're in right now. And it's almost as though as you move into this idea of, taking the leap, it's about wanting your crown, right? It's not about asking permission. It's about commanding respect. And so when we start looking, at the collective in this moment, the storyline that's coming through is you stand here right now with a clear mind and an open path ahead. If you think about that triangle and how that fits in, the transformation calls you, right? This is that light in the woods on that path, but your heart hesitates, right? This is that damselfly that's just balancing on the very tip of, if you don't know, like a damselfly is like the tiniest version of a dragonfly. It's very light and delicate. And it's, your support though comes from a quiet place. It comes from a humble place. Yeah, a quiet place. A quiet place from within you or from outside of you. I'm called back to the image of the manatee just under the water, so still and quiet, solitary and alone, but also, very much contained. And when you speak your truth and commit to a choice, harkening back to this letter, your sacred vehicle, that Merkaba that I saw, that sacred vehicle becomes activated. It's not just a departure. This for you may very well be an ascension. So I feel that going forward, if this reading is for you, you know kind of where you are and what's coming up. You know that you've given lots of thought to how you're showing up, and you know that you can't put it off anymore. You can't put it off any longer. There is someone here to help you, to guide you, and all that's good is on the other side of just taking this leap. So I'm going to leave this here. The path may twist and the symbols may blur, but your soul knows the way. And if this story stirred something in you, I ask that you hold it, let it speak to you in dreams and silence, and the symbols that seek you out. And remember, you're not broken, you're becoming. I'll meet you again on the next threshold, and until then, keep walking your myth. Blessed be.